It becomes something else.
Good thinking.
Speaking of simple chords, like we just were with Jane Says, another song from the Jane's Addiction days that I get asked about is Ocean Size. There's a little introduction to the song which was done on acoustic guitar. And that's another situation where the intro is like this little mellow piece and then the song crashes in.
Right.
I guess I like being in bands that have that. But what that is E chord down here at the bottom of the neck. Move it up four frets and keep the same formation. Let the high strings ring, and I just do a little modulation with the picking here. Down a half step. Again. A little strumming back up to the top.
That's a specific pattern you have in your right hand picking on that.
Right, it's starting with the fifth string.
Right, and then just move the chord and keep the same right hand.
Right, and you know, like I said, simplicity sometimes works the best. The rhythm for that song, when it does crash in, is, I'll play it clean and then distorted, so clean so you can understand what it is. It's just a simple E chord. The second chord is the top two strings that you would play on a G chord. That being the chord, the G chord, just focus on these two.
So, in our case today, the bottom two.
Simple. Ends up sounding like this. You know, very simple, aggressive sound, aggressively played. It works.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of that same power as Mountain.
Mountain Song is another one. It's all rooted in E. The song is played in the key of E. What I call this a short form. I forgot what you would call it. It's basically this barred E chord, but just focusing on these top two strings.
Right, so the fifth.
So it's a fifth there, and that is slid up and down the neck as such. The low E is kind of a kicker there. We'll go to the D chord for the change. Suspended. Again, we use the octaves we talked about. What I do there is I use the octaves, and then when I go back to the D the second time, I let the A ring open. So you actually get like a polyharmony happening where you're getting this feel. But you're still playing. So it's almost like two parts that fit together. So. Excuse me. That's how that one goes.
Did you play that in its entirety now? Yeah. Speaking of Jane's Addiction, could you play Been Caught Stealing?
Sure. I'll play it as it sounds on the record, then I'll pick it apart
Yeah.
for you. It's a dirty sound, and it's a little bit more of a funky, kind of muted strumming style on it, and it's... That's the general rhythm of it. I'll go clean so you can hear exactly what I'm playing. I guess the song is in the key of G. What I'm playing here is a short form of G, which incorporates these three strings. I hope you have a close-up here. And the only change to that is that. So we're really working with simply picking off the pinky there. And the rest of it's in the strumming. What I guess I also do is I lift these two fingers off. So there's actually three parts to it, three formations, and
lots of muting.
Lots of muting there, and you know, it ends up sounding.
You get a lot of use out of, I've noticed, out of taking a bar chord, you know, in your bar with your first finger, then just simply lifting off and coming up with something else.
Yeah, that's. There's always so many different places to go in the same, with the same formation, so to speak. So if I'm in the bar chord here, I lift off everything else and just keep the bar, and I got. I'm never really moving this finger off, and basically that's all I'm trying to show is that you can go anywhere you want and invent little chords and subchords and melodies within the same structure.
Do you find yourself holding your pick a different way when you go into the funky rhythms where you have to mute a lot? As opposed to single note lines?
I probably shifted a little bit, but that's just to be comfortable with it. The idea is to get it to a place where you're not really thinking about it. So whatever really works, I don't think that there's any right way to do it.
Do you grip it hard or loosely? Or?
I'm kind of a loose gripping pick player. I don't know if you can see, but on the amp back here behind you, on the peach cabinet, there are some picks taped along the front of it because I drop them all the time. So when I'm playing and I drop a pick,
there's proof, right?
And I'm not holding on to it, I can just grab another one.
How do you hold the pick, or how do you do that? The real fast picking on one string.
Well, I've seen it done a number of ways. I've seen guys move their whole hands, like you were talking about earlier off camera. They get their arms all stiff, and I can't do that really well. I actually can't do it my way very well either. But what I do is I just kind of, you know, do this little motion.
Oh, so it's more actually in your thumb and your finger.
Between my thumb and finger. You know, but I think it's, you know, it probably depends on what you're comfortable with. I was never taught how to do it, and like in my early years of listening to records, I was trying to emulate other players. I couldn't see what they were doing, I could only hear what they were doing, and to me it sounded like it was all in there.
Could you show a riff where you actually have to play like a funky chord thing and then go into a single note line?
Sure. I do it more in like rhythmic senses rather than soloing senses because even though I can play a note like that, I find that I don't feel good about it when I'm doing it, you know, so I don't really play solos that way, but there's a song called Coffee Shop where I kind of incorporate that picking style in the rhythm